hope and guess. And that may be additional things we now have to learn about. Okay, let's find this dude. How are we doing? This is nearly full. And we've nearly used up a tank of diesel on this field, so awesome fun. Oops, excuse me. I can't remember what other things they've announced on that count. Yes. And you have to lower the shovels in order to pick up the beets. There we go. And I missed some. But I think for the most part they appear to have incorporated a lot of the good ideas that Realismus had when they created Seasons originally, at least as far as the crops are concerned. Maize Plus, obviously not a thing Giants is incorporating, although they are including... I've got the vehicle extended driving mod, which allows me to select drive and reverse. I think it also allows me to select gears, but I haven't got it set up for that. That's an optional extra setup. But we are going to have, at the very least, an automatic gearbox, potentially a manual gearbox, and it may be defined within the tractor. So different tractors have different transmissions, but that will allow us people what use steering wheels and pedals to feel a little bit more comfortable when we're trying to drive with the pedals. Apparently they've also improved the sound so that there is engine sound and transmission sound, which is going to be interesting. Also, if you're in the cab view, possibly squeaking seat springs and stuff like that. Now, I'm not a big one on, so long as the sound makes it sound okay, I'm kind of fairly okay with that. Yeah, and metal on metal clangs as you're lifting and lowering your tippers and stuff. But like I said, so long as it sounds right, okay. I don't necessarily feel the absolute need for 100% realism, but I won't say no to it if it's provided. Same with graphics, I don't mind if a game is cartoon graphics or anime graphics. So long as the gameplay is good, I'm happy. So, yeah. But if you want to give me more realistic graphics, then I'm not going to say no. It's not necessarily something I look for first in a game. But then that's just me. Oh, so many weeds around here. I'm definitely going to have to start treating for weeds next spring. In full grain tank, time to find the truck. So I did all of the sheep work. probably should go and move the harvester between the next unload. Well, I have heard that animal graphics are still locked down, so modders can't make different looking animals like you can with tractors and buildings and what have you. But I have heard that there are going to be cattle breeds. I don't know how in-depth that's going to be, but we are going to be able to have milk-producing cattle and beef-producing cattle. So that'll be a nice adjustment. Although those of us who play with seasons have already seen that. Okay. That's a good thing. What else is there? Haven't heard about any new animals. So it's also still a question, I guess. I mean, last time we got chickens as a purchasable resource rather than something you got on the farm just because you had a chicken coop. And we got horses. That's not where you put it. I'll give you that much. Okay, how's that look? Whoa, way too far. Back up. Okay. Seriously? Come on, you. Okay. That's off. We can now fold the top. And I'm also kind of looking forward to getting sort of auto positioning headers on trailers, which we got with the class trailers and headers, but we don't currently have with any others. So having that available on all of our headers and trailers is going to be really nice. We're also getting 3D tracks for tractors and other vehicles that do have tracks, which I know some modders got into trouble with earlier this year because they were creating John Deere tractors with 3D tracks, and I think there was an auger wagon someone created with 3D tracks, and Giants was sort of no, those 3D tracks are only available in the expansions we've created or DLCs we've created. You can't give them out free to people who haven't paid for them. Okay, truck. There we go. But that, obviously, that restriction's not around anymore. I just blew that completely. It's way too close. And we should see more fast balers in the next game, because that technology is now open for modder use, which will be nice. I would like to see some round balers without wrappers on the back in a fast baler style as well. That would be good to see. Okay, we can turn that off. We'll go back to the harvester. And we are now done with this for the rest of the year. Potentially forever. I might buy a bigger harvester next year, but it really depends on spare cash. Well, actually, am I done with it? If we use this anymore this year, it's just going to be for contracts. I think I'll just put it all away for now. I might drop the trailer in the yard and have a tractor take it down back. There we go. And I did see, I think it was Clutch was demonstrating one of their gameplay demos where you could see the ripples of the wind in a crop that was being harvested. So again, not something that makes or breaks the game, but yeah, I'll appreciate that when it's there. And yeah, came in at the wrong angle. I'm trying to position that between the two more evenly, so there's space to walk around it. How is it doing? It is going to need a maintenance before next year, but for right now, I think it's good enough to park. Whoa, hello. Okay, Helper Eye has a good full grain tank. Let's go find... I went the wrong way on the tabber. There we go. Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, obviously, if I'm going to trade it in for another one, I should probably repair it before I sell it. How's this? So this will take us 30. So we've got three more unloads, and then this will be full. What I could do is run back to the yard. I went the wrong way again, didn't I, with this? At least while the truck's emptying, while it's not standing on the crop, we've got a couple more minutes to do a run back to the yard and back. Oh, that was not good. Close your eyes. Yeah, we're doing bad driving. I'm trying to think what else. I mean, on the whole, I think what they've demoed of seasons, I'm fairly happy that we've got, for the most part, what we're used to. At least as far as the arable crops is concerned. Oh, that was the other thing I heard. For modders, they've made it easier to mod and name crops. So effectively, my understanding is, and I'm not a modder, you could go into Giant's Editor, load wheat, change the textures on it, and call it rye, and add it as another crop type. on either on your map or as a mod that you can download. So that's going to be a nice thing. It's going to make at least part of the job that the farming agency does to some maps, adding things like Maize Plus and adding things like the additional crops, much easier. At least that's Giant's claim. So expect to see more crops. I mean, yes, it's one of those things. It's sort of, well, it's nice to be able to do wheat, barley, and oats, but at the end of the day, they function all the same. So there should really be something else. Also, it begs the question: is if someone creates something like, did I shut the gate? Yes, Maize Plus, but the variable price of crops and planting information and harvesting information is stored within the map. How do you add, say, a Maize Plus download or a Maize Plus mod to your game save, because you kind of need that information in the map first? Or would a mapper have to? Would Maize Plus be something that the modder who created it would have to make available to map makers to merge into their maps if they wanted to allow players of their maps to include the additional crops? It's, I'm not clear on that, and not too worried about it, but it was, some things were explained quite nicely, and other things it's sort of, but what if? And I guess we'll see that when it happens. It also brings up the question of, have Giants added additional... Oh, it stopped. What is it? There's a counter in the game, or in the map, which Giants set reasonably high. Which is sort of, I think it's tip types. So if I unload sugar beets on the ground, that's one of the types. You've got wheat, barley, oats, all of the rest of them. And if you play with seasons, then seasons adds semi-dry grass. See, it had wet grass, no. And a couple of other things which then takes up some of these some of the tip count. It's one of the reasons why you can't play with Seasons and Maize Plus, because they both add to the things that are counted against the tip types, and so it's one or the other, unless you're going into one of them, your map, and adding tip slots. So Farming Agency has done that for you, so you can play with Seasons and with Maize Plus, and it all works because that counter limit is set high enough that it doesn't bother us, or it doesn't impact us. It's one of the reasons why Maize Plus came out in 2 different mod types, or mod packs. You can have Maize Plus, and then you have the grass silage one, I think, or something. But there's 2 of them. You can play with Seasons and one of them, or not Seasons and both of them. two-player map that's specifically edited to allow them all to work together. And the other thing they demoed was fences. I do like that. And it was something I was saying earlier this year, was it would be really nice if I could just go into build mode. Probably do that. Oops. Not from there. But you go into build mode and you click there and then you drag with a fence, and when you click again it will lay a fence between the 2 points. And I said that would be a really nice way of doing it, and it would be really nice if I could then select the area inside of the fence and say this is cows, and then be able to place cows in that area, because I've defined it as an area where cows can roam in. I don't know if they're going to do that. It would also be nice to be able, for them to include stone walls and hedges into that sort of drag and drop design. And the fences, as they appeared, were all contoured to the map. That I would say is a big improvement, just to be able to fence up an area, but to be able to additionally be able to define it as somewhere I can put some animals would just be icing on the cake. And we've tried that on this map in the past when I was segregating, is it field 5 and 6, so I could have sheep in one field and then the other field was fenced off and gated. Just to be, I was having so much problems with the mod walls and fences, just trying to get it to work how I wanted it to work, and just to be able to say click here, click there, and place a fence or a hedge or a wall, or put a gate in the fence, just would have made my issues so much less on that. If I hit the wall. But there is a lot of reworking when it comes to landscaping and building. It's a build editor, and placing buildings, placing fences, placing all the stuff and all the things, painting the ground, contouring the ground. It's all included in sort of the one tool set. Of course, what we're then going to still need to find out is how easy it is to completely balls up your ground and make your map almost completely useless in areas. Because obviously that's some of the issue I've had in the past. I did early on in 19, I did an Estancia Lapacho playthrough, and just sort of started a new farm. I didn't start in the planned starting area. I leveled out ground, and I ploughed up ground, and I chopped down trees, and I ended up with the biggest field I had was, through successive editing, just ended up completely unusable. The workers didn't like it because there were tree stumps buried in the ground that nobody could see except them. And I couldn't level off some of the steep hills or smooth things out or anything. It was just sort of, this is frustrating me, I'm done, was the end of that one. Yep. I'm fairly certain that the harvester's already full again. Where is he? Oh, right there. Really don't know how much of this to crate up now. I mean, I could take this entire trailer, which is 30,000 litres. We probably won't exceed that need. Where's the harvester? There. You can jump out. I'll take over. And see how much of a mess I can make of this. Planning to do now is just run around the edge, and I'll probably finish most of this manually. Because it gives me something to do rather than just sit around and watch it happen. Also hoping we don't run out of diesel before this is all done. At least this year we only have the one sugar beet field. I might do 2 next year, although at this point I think a lot of planting decisions for next year is going to revolve around how much money we make from the harvest and how many fields we buy. Because we're getting to the point where we're looking at the pricey fields. So 500,000, 300,000 each. At least close to where we're currently working fields. There are the cheap grass fields up around behind our cow pasture. As I said, they're all grass fields, and we're really not needing more grass. But if that's the way the money falls, I might plough up the number 3 grass field and use that as arable and have more smaller grass fields. How are we doing? We're nearly full again. Ugh. We're done. And at this point, I'm still not sure we're going to fit all of this into, what is it, 78,000 litres of carts. On 10 o'clock. Okay, let's get this rolling. And then the only thing we've got left, well, we've got the clover is ready to harvest, so may do that tomorrow game day, but if the potatoes are ready, might look at doing that first. Just get all our arable crops up and then worry about the grasses a little later. We did the actual grass already, so we may get another chance to cut that. Tea's gone.